Okay,
I
perfect.
got it. Got it.
Awesome.
Okay.
Cool beans. Okay, so I think that's it. We're gonna shoot for like 20 to 30 minutes ish, but
Okay. Wow.
whatever happens, happens. We're flexible. We don't
Cool.
mind. Um, so yeah. Do you think there's anything else?
I think so. I think we get
Grab
stuff.
my water right here. Oh, to make sure I have everything in hand. I have my dog on my feet.
We've got a cat that he loves to crash Zoom, so he might
Perfect.
sneak
Yeah.
in. He's
I
done
had
that
to
before.
I had to close the front door so Copper wouldn't see a squirrel and start
So.
raising pain and barking all over the place.
I love it. I love it.
All right.
All right, let's get started.
Yeah.
So, our first question for you is could you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, my name is Kim Teems Fox,
It's 10
and
o'clock.
oh, did that shut? Did
It's
you hear
10
that?
o'clock. Yeah.
Okay. I just switched from a PC to a Mac, and I just found that intriguing. You don't realize how quickly time goes by when you're like,
Right.
oh, no, that worked.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
No, that's
Okay,
awesome.
so I am a graphic designer turned nonprofit exec, which is kind of funny. Um, Let me just start from the beginning. I used to do a lot of motorcycle riding, and this is how I met Faces. So this will warm me up. Okay, so um, I've ridden motorcycles for a lot of years. My
Mhm.
dad started me in it, and rode in a lot of charity events. You know, there's a thing called a poker run where you go to different places and you pay money, and it goes for the charity. So I was working at the print shop and as a graphic designer. And I actually got the job to redesign Faces, the National Craniofacial Association's brochure. And that set me on a search for, well, what are craniofacial syndromes? What's it like? And, the whole time I was researching it, I was crying. I was relating. It was just like really, really touched me because not only all the surgeries and the pain and crap, but what about the teasing, the meanness, the bullying?
Yeah.
Um, as a kid, I got bullied. I was chubby. I look back and think I wasn't fat. What was the deal? But
Right.
I had no self-confidence. I thought, and I got bullied a lot. I got picked on a lot. I was very shy, and I mean, in fact, I skipped school in sixth grade for a week because I was being bullied so bad
Oh my
that me and my
gosh.
best friend hid out at her house because her mom would, and for a week until we were caught.
Oh.
It was so terrible. So
Yeah.
I really related like to both sides. And so I designed the brochure, which is so funny because whose picture is on it
Uh,
is you two
yes.
with the rainbow behind
Oh,
you.
yes. Our parents love that picture.
I love that picture. I love that picture. So I just think it's full circle, that it's totally perfect that you were doing
Yeah.
Courageously Kind, that we're sitting here right now.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, this is awesome. So got to design the brochure, and I got to know I think it was two and a half ladies of Faces at times, because they had a part-time person in Lynn Mayfield and
Mhm.
Stephanie,
Mhm.
and I adored them. And then I went to their office one day, and it was this itty bitty little office in this old doctor's building, like old. And they had old beat up desk and computers. And I was like, wow, I feel like if I gave my money to them, it would be going to help somebody,
Yeah.
because this was the time where there was a lot of stink about United Way, executives
Mhm.
stealing money, and charities, and you always wonder
Yeah.
where your money is going.
Yeah.
So I just, I love the ladies, and they asked me to help them start a motorcycle ride. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
so we started Ride for Smiles, which lasted 10 years. But during this time, I rode a Harley Davidson. I had a Road King. I wore blue jeans and halter tops and biker boots,
I
long
love it.
hair, tails,
So cool.
just a little bit of a wild child. And during this time, they asked me to be on the board.
Mhm.
I was like, You want me? Okay. You think of board, you think of suits and ties and
Yeah.
stuffiness. And I was like, okay, you sure? And they're like, oh, absolutely. And I don't know if you remember Lynn Mayfield. She is retired now, but she is so sweet and so kind. And I fell in love with Lynn.
Aw.
She's just a very kind, sweet lady and knows her craniofacial syndromes, knows so much about the community, and was a wonderful mentor and taught me so much. But I just fell in love with her. And so I joined the board. I was on the board for several years, which was wonderful for me. It really helped me develop a professionalism. It helped me all around, and
Mhm.
also was helping people. I did the graphic design pro bono, and that's how I stayed involved. And then one day a position came open at Faces, and it corresponded with me also kind of finding a shift in my life where I was changing places. And I started working for Faces, and it was awesome. I loved it. I worked there for several years before, and keep in mind at this time I was a single parent. My girls were older; they were in their teens. No, they were not. When I first started, I don't know, they were young, but they were around, and I was working for Faces,
Mhm.
and I thought I needed more money,
Mhm.
because it's a nonprofit, you don't make a lot of
Yeah.
money. It's worth it, but if you're single and you don't have the support of a family, it makes it harder. So I thought, I need to make more money. So I went
Yeah.
back to school to be a draftsman doing 3D modeling and engineering, okay, which was really cool.
Awesomeness.
I found it
Yes.
fascinating. It's very creative too, and a different way of thinking. It totally made me think differently, kind of like an engineer, which was scary because I'm like the other side. But so I got a job. I left Faces and got a job as a designer. It was a mixture of graphic design and 3D modeling at a big place called Aztec. They do big machinery for paving and asphalt industry. And so I got to design this really cool project. It was a 3D model of a parts manual for a machine that you bought. So you can click on it and it explodes, and you see the parts, and you click on the part
Yeah.
and you order the part. So I got it all set up about a year into it. And then once it was kind of set up, it really turned into a cookie cutter kind of thing. And it bored me.
Yeah.
But also, I had been getting a big hankering for, am I where I'm supposed to be?
Yeah.
Excuse me for 1 second. Coffee's hit and I was getting hot. This is live. It's a hot flash and I'm 50
Great
something. So
love.
it happens.
So good.
So I was really work was good. I was making killer money. I mean,
Mhm.
awesome money. I was working as a contractor. I was about to get in with the company and be a full-time person, get the benefits, get everything. But I was missing something. I was just kind of like, I don't know, while I was doing this, you had a lot of time to think because it was so cookie cutter. And I just like,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to be doing? And I was kind of like, all right, where am I supposed to be? God, put me where I'm supposed to be. What am I supposed to
Yeah.
be doing? And it was like, I was getting back into my art a little bit on the side, and I was still on the board of Faces. And I went to a little event at Faces. It was just a little at a brewery just to kind of introduce some people around the town that here's Faces. We're here, we have services.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there talking to Lynn, and I was like, Lynn, I go to work at an ungodly early hour, and then I get off at like 3. I said, I'd be happy to drop by the office. I miss Faces. I'll help you do thank you letters or something like that.
Yeah.
Things that always pile up that you need to get to. Oh,
Right.
she's like, that'd be awesome. The very next day, I get an email from the young lady that had taken my place at Faces, who was
Mhm.
wonderful, had awesome spirit, and just had really getting to go. And her name's Sarah. She was
Mhm.
leaving Faces.
Yes. I remember that.
I just kind of looked up and I went, are you talking to me?
I
Honestly, I mean, it had been so
love
much
that.
on my mind. It had
Yeah.
been so much in my prayers. I was just like flabbergasted. And I mean, I got kind of chills, and I texted Lynn Mayfield. I said, Lynn, would you even consider taking me back?
Yeah.
And she said, well, we can talk. Let's go to lunch tomorrow. And we went to lunch tomorrow. The thing is, before that happened, Lynn Mayfield had already said, Kim, you know, one day I'm going to retire. You might think about being the executive director or president. And I was like,
Yeah.
there's no way. What are you talking about? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just a hippie chick. Um, and I thought there were other people that would be better. We talked a bunch, but I didn't think about it. And then after leaving and then coming, before I came back, I told her, I said, my perspective has really changed since I left. And I think maybe I could do it. What do you think? And so she said, yeah. She didn't make the decision. The board made the decision, but she kind of groomed me, and she's been a wonderful teacher all the years through. And so what do you know, this little blue jean chick motorcycle rider became the executive director of Faces when she retired.
I love it.
It still, to me, seems strange.
Yeah.
It just seems strange, but I love it. I mean, I'm doing what I love, and we are so small still right now. I'm full-time, and then I have two part-time, well, actually 3 part-time people. I have Emily McKay, which is awesome. She's my communications director. She is wonderful and refined and suave and kind and awesome. And then I have Rico Reimer, who's my bookkeeper and also keeps us up to date on our state applications and all the details and bookkeeping that blow my mind. I tried to do it for a year. I kept the books balanced.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh,
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
it was just taking so much time away from what I really am good at, which is helping people and connecting people and things like that. So I have her, and then we have Mark, who is our gopher boy, and he takes good care of us. He gets the mail. He fixes desk if we need it fixed, or moves things and helps with the database, and just wonderful. So, we're just a little bitty crew. Anyway, so that is how I became a Faces president. Like I said, I've always been kind of a hippie chick. I'm an artist by nature. And the one wonderful thing about working for a nonprofit is that we have more flexible hours, and also we don't really, our schedule is we have a 35-hour work week. So and that's the way the board designed us. So that means I can work 4 long days and have a day off in the
That's
middle of the
awesome.
week, which gives me time to play in my art room, which really makes
Yes.
me happy. So that kind of bleeds over into Faces, because Faces, you wear so many hats as being so little. I guess that's what I was getting at. We're so little that we're promoting, we're helping, we're shooting videos at Faces Camp, and we're taking pictures, and you have to be, and we have to make a nice little sponsorship packet and make it look pretty. Oh, we're having a silent auction. We have to take pictures and make it look pretty, and we have to write good copy, and we have to sell it, and then we have to so you get to do a little bit of everything, which I love. It keeps me on my toes. So and then, speaking of Faces Camp, could I just go on there, or do I need
Yes,
to?
absolutely. We would love to hear about it.
We just had our second live Faces Camp in July, and oh my God, it was awesome.
Oh,
First year was
amazing.
great. This year, Ashley Rhodes is our camp director, and she's phenomenal, and she reached out to all these moms and dads to get them to trust us to have their children at a camp where they spend a night away from them for several nights. Right? Some parents are okay with letting it happen, and then there's some that have never been able. They're just so they have a lot of health issues. Their child has a trach, and their child has issues that might not be able to get to bend their joints or something. So we have some parents have just been very protective. So we have one in particular, lovely, lovely mom who just adores her daughter. Her daughter's 12, and but her daughter's never really had much autonomy. She's always been with her mom. Her daughter really wanted to come to camp badly, but mom was like, oh, but what if? But what if? But what if? Dad was going, let her go. Grandma's going, let her go. girls going, let me go. So mom and a few other moms who are still new to this, because this is again our only second year, stayed in some Airbnbs within probably 5 to 10 miles from the camp. So they were
Awesome.
close enough that if something
Yes.
happened, they were there. Because
Yes.
my one mom is from Michigan,
Oh my
so
gosh, yeah.
she was all the way home. That was a long way to be. But
Right.
anyway, so they really enjoyed having the time away. They were able to relax a little bit. The kids didn't need them at
Right.
night. There was nothing that went on. So Wednesday we have a carnival night, and we invited these parents to come to the carnival night and see what camp was like.
Yeah.
And this mom said her daughter ran up to her and said, oh, I love you, I miss you, thank you, or not thank you, but I miss you, good to see you, you can go now, bye.
Yeah.
And that was it. And she's
That's
like,
amazing.
oh my gosh. And just watched her in amazement and watched how
Yeah.
much she had they all had this, like, they weren't treated any different. They
Mhm.
were kids. Everybody at that camp, it was mixed between kids born with facial difference or an acquired facial difference
Mhm.
and kids, quote unquote, normal kids or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
Everybody was just being kids. That's
I
all
love
they had
it.
to do.
That's
Sometimes it was the
beautiful.
first time that a lot of these kids spent the night away from home.
Yeah.
They, formed relationships. They had so much fun. It was just amazing. It really was amazing. So we're looking forward to 2022.
Yes.
We might even start, now this is just a little brainstorming thing, but
Mhm.
we might even start to kind of intertwine that with a parent respite in Chattanooga or something like that, because
That'd be
a lot of
awesome.
parents, they're busy. Their
Yeah.
child they need a rest.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like that your child's in camp and they're safe and they can have fun. And now it's mom and dad or mom want to, somebody's time to just
Take a break. Yeah.
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 So yeah, that was great. Great. We're
That's
really
awesome.
happy with that. So
That's so awesome. So really quickly, we talk a lot about faces, but for our listeners who don't really know what faces is, what are some things that you guys do to help families and kids?
okay, I can do that. Okay, so faces, we help children and adult with craniofacial differences, whether it's accident, disease, or birth defect.
Mhm.
We help them with financial travel. Many times families have to travel many miles to go to the craniofacial specialist they need to go to.
Mhm.
And we help with lodging and food, parking, flight, things like that make it a lot easier, because it takes, oh goodness, with insurance being so crazy, even if you're covered in insurance, you're still up to here in medical bills,
Right.
traveling. Sometimes a parent has to stay home for a while and not work,
Yeah.
especially when the child is young and still going through a lot of the surgeries and
Right.
such. So that's our main support. And then we information and support online and by the telephone and emails all over the world. We help financially in the United States, okay, but
Mm.
all over the world with information support. I get emails from Russia, I get emails from Egypt, I get emails from all over the world, asking, I have a child that has APERS, where do I go? Or there's nobody in this country, da 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 da, helping them
Yeah.
find resources, helping them find other nonprofits that are close to them.
Yeah.
So doing things like that, talking to new parents that sometimes are calling right after they've had an ultrasound,
Mhm.
finding out that their baby has a craniofacial difference.
Mhm.
A lot of times for the parents, it's almost like the death of one baby and the birth of another,
Yeah.
because they're overwhelmed. They don't
Yeah.
know what to think. They're afraid. They have so many questions. What if, what if, what if?
Yeah.
So we help them through that. We connect them with other people. Um, Information, other agencies, depending on what they're needing, help them find a selection of craniofacial centers that they can then interview and pick. We never refer.
That's
We give
awesome.
them the information. So questions to ask, how to talk to your doctor, because a lot
Yeah.
of times they're young and they a doctor, oh, you're a
Right.
doctor. They're
Exactly.
scared to death to say anything. So you're
Yeah.
like, no, you need to ask questions. Here's some questions to ask. Here's some red flags if they don't want to answer these questions, or if they're being
Mhm.
weird. think about that, because you're going to kind of be growing with this team for a while,
Absolutely.
right? You're going to be
Yeah.
with them, you're going to form a relationship.
Yeah.
So we help them that way, how to find information support. And then of course there's space equality. Woo, and that is a very new thing. And I'm so honored that Faces was one of the founding members of Face Equality. Lynn Mayfield was still president at the time when we got a call from James Partridge.
Mhm.
I love James. Did you ever have the pleasure of meeting him or
We
talking to him?
didn't. I'm
Oh,
sad about that, but I've
Yeah.
learned so much about him through the internet. It's amazing.
yes. Have you read his book, Face It?
Not yet.
Me too.
I
That's on
need, I
the
have a copy. If you text me, remind me, I'll mail you a copy. It's
Oh,
wonderful.
awesome.
And
Thank you so
it'll help
much.
you with face equality as well.
Yeah.
So we got this call from James explaining face equality, and Lynn knew who he was. I had really not heard of him. He was the founder of Changing Faces in the
Mhm.
UK.
Yeah.
Because his face changed. He was a young man when he was in a fiery car accident, and one
Mhm.
day he was just a young man with a regular face. The next day he was burned all over,
Mhm.
lost some fingers. So his face changed. After in his book, he tells his story. Eventually he started Changing Faces, and then he retired. During the time at Changing Faces, they started face equality in the UK,
Mhm.
and actually, and Taiwan really picked up on it as well. The Smile Foundation. I get them mixed up, but
Mhm.
oh, they'll come to me. But so James's dream then, after he retired, was to make it worldwide and to bring the case to the United Nations so that we have face equality like race equality all over the world.
Yeah.
Some countries are protected a little bit more than others, like the United States. If you are discriminated because of a facial difference, you really don't have much legal things to stand on. You
Right.
don't. It's sometimes it's subtle and
Mhm.
sometimes it's obvious. It
Mhm.
can be settled by being looked over because you look different and they just assume, oh, they're not going to be any good, or they're
Right.
not smart. And
Yeah.
actually they're missing out on a lot of talent.
Yeah.
And because that's unmined, that's gold mines of talent there.
Yeah.
So face equality was just right on time, and we were like, yes, we want to be part of this. Yes, yes, yes. And what was wonderful about this really was, so Lynn went on to retire and I was president, and we had our first forum, face equality forum, in London right before the plague on
Yeah.
2019, right?
Yeah.
And so I got to go to that. I drug my husband along and we did a little sightseeing on the side, but we went
Yeah.
to face equality forum. I got to meet James in person, which was awesome. And so many cool people from around the world. All these different nonprofits came together.
Yeah.
And what we discovered was that we're all trying to help this group of people.
Mhm.
Why reinvent the wheel? We need to help each other and share resources. And that was the
Yeah.
biggest thing that came from that. We learned all kinds of things, but since that time, it's been tremendously helpful for me, because I can shoot an email to somebody in one of like, oh, I have a guy and I have a one in Czechoslovakia, one of the nonprofits. And, I
Yeah.
can say, hey, I have somebody that's looking for somebody. Can you help them? Or, so I have people all around the world that can help. And it's all because of face equality.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's so important. Our job is to help people. It's not to be worried about competition, about donations
Yeah.
or sponsorships or who's going to be more famous. It's about, how can I help this person? And
Yeah.
if it takes sending you somewhere else, that's where I'm going to send you. So this was wonderful with seeing all the nonprofits, and we really all agreed.
Yeah.
And so we continue on with face equality. Once a year we have face equality week.
Mhm.
We are working on an education hub. Actually, they have an education hub now on face equality international.org, I think.
Yes. Awesome.
Um, what is else going on? I know we've got lots of things going on with that's worthy of checking up.
Yeah.
So we do that. We do camp. We do financial aid for travel, information support. I don't know. What else am I missing? That's a lot right there. We
That's a
could have,
lot. You do so much. And you helped our family so
Oh
much
my
when we
gosh,
were just babies. And
yeah.
our parents were so grateful that they found you guys.
We're
And
so grateful for you guys.
yes,
that's
absolutely.
that's what we're here for. If you have, okay, quick story about Faces. Do you know how Faces was started? Have you
No.
ever heard of Debbie Fox?
Mhm.
No relation to me.
Mhm.
Debbie Fox was a little girl that was born in Saudi, Tennessee, which is just the outskirts of Chattanooga here. And she was born with a cleft that went up her total face. Probably part of her heart was affected and one of her hands. And she was born basically with a huge cleft in her face without a face. They said she was born without a face, is what was going on. Um, there was even somebody that said, why did they let her live? And a nurse that was there in the room, the birthing room, said, how dare you? You don't know what plans God has for this
Yeah.
child. And they did a minor surgery to her mouth so that she can suck. Otherwise, she had nothing done. And she lived at home with her parents. Her parents were very devout Church of God. You know, they went to church, they did it, but they did not take Debbie with her. Then she did not go to regular school. She did not go and play with other kids. She would play only with family, close family. They kept her very protective. A lot of, have a lot. Can you hear me?
There we go. Back.
Can
We're
you hear
back.
me?
Yes.
I might have to move to where I'm closer to my, okay. So anyway, so she'd never seen her face. She didn't really realize why she didn't get to play with everybody, but you know, that's the way it was until she was about 7 or 8 and she found her daddy's shaving mirror and she saw her face. And she realized why. And then from then on, her dream was to have a face. She wanted to be just like everybody else. Very smart little girl, very, very smart. So at the time, she wanted to go to school. So the way to go to school was to put a big black telephone, one of these rotary dial things, in her house and one at the schoolhouse. And she would call in every day and they'd turn the phone over. And that's how she would go to
Wow.
school. Then down the road, Hamilton County, and Hamilton is the county she lived in, had a new program where they were bringing teachers to those who could not leave, who were homebound. So a wonderful woman named Madge Apple was told to go meet Debbie Fox. That this is somebody that she, you know, she could teach. So she went there and she met Debbie. When she left there, she was in tears.
Yeah.
She was shocked. She had never seen anything like that before. She didn't know, she just couldn't do it. She went back to her directors. I can't do it. Have you seen her? I can't do it. And then she went home, she slept on it, she prayed on it, and she woke up and said, I got to do it.
Yeah.
And so she went back and said, I'm going to do it. I'm going back. This girl needs me.
Mhm.
So she started teaching Debbie, and Debbie really wanted a face. So she started reaching out, trying to find surgeons to do something to Debbie's face. Found a surgeon in Chattanooga, Dr. Barnwell, and he was starting to do work on her face. And Debbie was so excited. And then he died tragically in a car wreck.
Oh my
So
gosh.
whole new search.
Yeah.
And then so Madge Apple finds Dr. Edgerton in John Hopkins. So he builds her face. So Debbie gets her face. She travels a lot. The Debbie Fox Foundation was started to help her travel. And, you know, this was the time too to think about this. Okay. There were not any plastic surgeons at this time. She was born in the late 50s and this was the mid 60s. There was no plastic surgery. There was no boob jobs. There was no, you know, facelifts. It was heart surgeons mainly that dabbled in it because they had the guys coming home from Vietnam War, from the war, you know, explosions. So they were dabbling in it. So Debbie ended up being one of the first people to get craniofacial reconstruction from Dr. Tessier. He was the first and she was like the second with Dr. Edgerton. I get that a little bit mixed up. Might need to edit that. I need to research that. Lynn's going, Kim. No, I'm trying. So anyway, so there was lots of publicity. That was the point. This was new. This was never done before. They'd actually broken the bones here and moved her eye sockets in. So can you see me? Okay. Her so that she could actually read a book like this instead of having to read like this. So people were started reaching out to Debbie and Madge Apple going, I have a daughter that was born with this. I have a son. We thought we're the only ones. Oh my gosh. There's other people like us. There's other, we need help too. So
Yes.
after Debbie had her surgeries, we still had the foundation. And so we started helping other people get to the craniofacial surgeries they need. Eventually it was renamed to FACES, the National Craniofacial Association. So our basis started from Debbie Fox, who recently passed away, but she did grow up and got married and had a nice life and left a wonderful legacy. So I had to get in there.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. So, how can people, if our listeners want to support FACES, how can they do so?
Okay. One thing, go to our website, faces-cranio.org. So FACES-CRANIO.org. You can tell I've been on radio sometimes, I have to spell it. And we have a way you can donate. You can sponsor a child for FACES Camp. You can help us on our upcoming event, September 25th. We're bringing 5 families into Chattanooga's and to celebrate FACES and to it's just a big celebration.
Awesome.
And a silent auction online. You can participate in that. Our website has it all. Helping a kid go to camp is amazing.
Yeah.
Or just making a donation so that we can continue to help children and adults get to their surgeries. That's really important. But yeah, that takes you, it tells you all
Awesome.
about us, information. I really would like, my thing I would like to come out of this is, if you hear me now, that you keep your ears open. If you have a friend that has a child that's born with a craniofacial difference, or somebody that's got hurt, that's had cancer and part of their nose is removed and they need help getting to get a prosthetic or such, remember FACES, look us up. We're here to help. I just want to spread the word, we're here to help. And that's the biggest thing you can do too, to help us get the word out there for those in need.
Awesome. Thank you. It was such a pleasure to talk with you today. I learned so much.
Me too. Yeah.
Awesome.
You are so cool.
Y'all are cool. I guess y'all are in school September, aren't you? Are you September 25th?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
darn.
We go
I
to
would love to
college.
invite you to one of our events one time once you get a little bit out of
Yes.
school. It'd be wonderful to have you down here and meet everybody, see Chattanooga. And
Definitely. That'd be
love to
awesome.
have you as courageously kind. I'm so proud of y'all, by the way.
Oh,
I'm
thank
so
you.
incredibly proud of y'all. So
Thank
you
you so
go.
much.
You're rocking it.
Thank you so much.
Yes, this is wonderful.
So we're not sure when this episode is going to air.
Okay.
Could be a couple weeks, just because we move into college this weekend. It's crazy. So it could be a couple weeks, but we'll shoot you an email before it goes up. And
Sweet. Thank you, girls. I really appreciate it.
Thank you
Give your
so
mom
much.
a
This was
hug.
awesome.
Yes. I guess
Lots
you're
of
not
love to
home.
you.
You're away at college now, right? You're not
We
home.
move in next week. So we're
Okay.
home now. But
So give your mom a hug for me.
will do.
All right.
So awesome.
Bye, ladies.
Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Don't work too hard.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.